Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of these designs. They are two very different variations of an addition I added to this blue design. So you see the blue design here and here. This was an already existing and rather old design of mine that I did, and I wanted to add the first half of the quote, which is every story ever told really happened. So in the black we have every story ever told really happened. And then this existing design says stories are where memories go when they're forgotten. And in this design, I wrapped up a little circle around our little design here. So it's every, and then this little shape here, a horseshoe with a single dot in it is a space or a placeholder circle. So it works as a space, but every space, story, space, ever space, told, and then a big space because of the actual space, really space happened, and then stories are remembered to go when they're forgotten. So two very different designs and two very different styles. This one is a continuation of the same style that the design existed in, and I think that this would look really nice as like a spine tattoo, or maybe as something done at an angle kind of crossing around an arm or a leg, or even just going straight down the middle of a long limb like a forearm or a calf, or a shin. This one I think would look really nice on like a shoulder or a thigh. Um, and because they're start markers, you can rotate them. So this one, you can rotate it like this, but this would be like each of the letters would be kind of upside down. Like, so it would still start here with the words here, and we'd go this way. But typically, reading order is starting at the bottom and going counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. But let's go ahead and read these designs. I'm going to do this one because it's a little bit simpler, because every letter is just in a line and there's no real fanciness with the sentence structure. But here we have a start marker, and this tells us where to start reading. And I'm going to clean up that line a little bit. Our first letter is a little vowel, and it's on the line of our word circle, so it's an E. Then we have this shallow divot, like somebody took a bite out of a cookie, and there's one line actually ending on it. All three of these lines merge to become one line that ends here, so that's a V. Here's an E. This R has 1, 2, 3 dots, and this Y crosses our circle with 2 dots. So that's every, and here's that space symbol. 1, 2, 3 lines on this shallow divot is an S, T with nothing, O inside our word circle, R with 3 dots, and Y with 2 dots. So again, even though this is a chain of 5 dots, these 2 dots are a little bit closer to this circle here, and these 3 dots are closer to this divot here, so we will count these 2 here and these 3 here. So that's an R and a Y. And then you have a space. An E again, just like our first E of this whole section. Another V, another E, except this one's centered in the mouth of that little letter stem, because vowels can either be by themselves, like this E, or attached onto a consonant, like this one. And here's another R with 3 dots and this space. The T is a shallow divot, just like this one with no modifiers, except this O is actually on the T. And here's our L with 3 dots, and this is our D with 3 dots. So, continuing around, we have this shallow divot with 1, 2 dots here, and then this third dot here, because this one is still closer to that letter than this letter, and this one is finally closer here. So these 3 go with this one, these 3 go with this one, these 2 go with this one. So that's a 3 dot letter, making it an R, and then we have an E, and then an A, and an L with 3 dots, and another L with 3 dots, and a Y with 2 dots. So that's really. Then we have 2 lines on this H and an A outside our word circle. This P has 1 line here and a line here. It's okay that they line up because lines, they count where they end on a letter. And because there's one ending here and one ending here, that counts as 2 lines, so that's a P. And this is another P with 2 lines here. They're just going off and making a curve over there. E, crossing our word circle, N, another E, and a D. So that's our first example. And then in the example that I did first and kind of like followed the simple continuation of the design, we have our little start marker here, and we have E, V, E, R, Y. Then this is a stacked letter. So you see how there's a thin and a thick circle, well, an arc. You read the thin one before the thick one, and this thin one has 1, 2, 3 lines ending on it, making it an S. And then this thick one is the T, because nothing actually ends on it, so that's the ST. Here's our O inside our word circle, and this R has its 3 dots here, and then a Y crosses with 2 dots, so that's story. Here's an E, and then a VE, and then the R with 3 dots, so that's ever. T with an O on it, L with 3 dots, and D with 3 dots, so that's told. R with 3 dots, E centered, A external. This is a double circle because these are the same thickness, unlike this one, which is different thicknesses. This is the same letter twice, so that's a double L with 3 dots. We don't need all 6 dots of typical 2 L's if it's a double circle, because then it's a double letter, and we know that it's the same letter because it's the same thickness, so we only need one set of the modifiers. So that's a double L. And then we have a Y with 2 dots, so that's REA double LY in really. And then we have an H with 2 lines on it, A outside our word circle. This is a double P with 2 lines on it, E, N with 1 line, E, D with 3 dots. And here's a period at the end of this sentence. This extra little bit here is just a sentence circle, so where you can put punctuation like that period. And similarly, this little bit extra going around here is just some extra sentence circle decoration. But yeah, I'm really happy with how well the word story matches the word stories in these two designs. I did them very similarly, and I hope you like them. Thanks. Bye.